हरे कृष्ण। ओमज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। To enter into Vrindavan, we need to be Mathura. We need to be Vrindavan and Mathura. We need to be free from false ego. And the person who helps us to get rid of false ego is Lord Shiva. He is Gopeshwar Mahadev. That's why when we start Vrindavan Parikrama, we have to start with taking darshan of Gopeshwar Mahadev. Then only it will work. He will help us to get rid of our false identification because he did it, so he can also teach us how to do it. And uh, this is the method to, like when Lord Shiva wanted to enter into Ras Leela, so he was told to go to Manasi Manas Sarovar to take bath, and then he comes as a gopi. So he changed his identity. So we also actually this changing of she becomes a very small girl, and then he enters. So for us also we should become innocent like that. Then we can enter into Vrindavan, we get access for it. And just so we are discussing how different personalities they extracted different products from Mother Earth. She is ready to give according to the requirement of the living entities. She is very kind. So, and she is providing all the facilities for living entities. But based on our consciousness, we are accessing. So this happens in all the areas. Whatever state of consciousness we have, we access the things in this world. If we are the highest consciousness, we get the highest things. If we are having very low consciousness, then we end up in something low only in this world. And this is uh, uh, and now presently the people's their state of consciousness is very low, and that's the reason what they're accessing is something very low. When Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, you know, this is actually what is happening. Like when he says Yamimam Pushpitam Vacham Prabhavantya Vishna, he's talking about uh, advertisements of Vedic culture. So even that time also there is a problem. The problem that time was uh, people are so much attached to the flowery words of Vedas. That time also there are advertisements, and now also there are advertisements. So advertisements are there all the times. Only thing is, uh, only problem is that there are different advertisements that time to go to heaven and all, and now the advertisements are different. But both the time, what is the main reason Krishna tells is you are hearing from wrong sources. That's actually what is the reason he gives. So we have to understand this very properly, that even Vedic culture also there is a problem. It's not that everybody went back home back to God because they followed Vedic culture. It was just conducive that we can accept, but we cannot say that they all went. So we discussed last time the problems of Vedic culture. So the whole fourth canto is meant to explain this one point only, that how even Vedic culture is having very serious problems. So we discussed the sacrifices which are performed. Fourth canto is full of sacrifices, and none of the sacrifice went right. When Daksha performed sacrifice, the end result is he got a goat head. Even though the muhurta was right, procedures were right, mantras was right, the result was not correct. When Anga performed sacrifice, he got Vena as the son. When Puth Maharaj want to perform sacrifice, many impostures are created because of Indra. Prachini Varshad and Dhruva performed so many sacrifices, then he has to go to Haridwar to nullify all the pious effects of that sacrifice. He want to nullify the effect, because we don't want punya and power. Both are not needed. And then when Prachini Varshi, now he's going to come next section after Rutu Maharaj. He performs sacrifice. Then he says, okay, get rid of it. He runs away from it in between. So the point is that even Vedic way of life, the Varnashrama life, is also not actually correct. Only Bhakti is right. Savai Pumsam, Parodharma is only right, not Varnashram Dharma. So that is the point of fourth canto. And so here we are seeing that different personalities, they approached Mother Earth and they extracted different products based on the consciousness. This is very important point. It is not why you are getting certain things in this life. Even I am also attracting. People speak about this law of attraction. You are attracting these things. That is true also in one level, because I have that state of consciousness. So I want to be happy and satisfied in that way. So you attract good. And we also attract based on our karma also. So both the things are there. Our swabhava is there, karma is there. So both are cause of anything that is happening in life. Swabhava is basically law of attraction. Like you are attracting certain things because you have certain swabhava. So the planet had supplied everyone his respective food. During the time of King Prithu, the earth was fully under the control of the king. Because all the inhabitants of earth could get their food supplied by creating various types of calves and putting their particular types of milk in various pots. Prabhupada's writing this, we read also, but we'll do. This evidence that the Lord supply food to everyone as confirmed with Vedas, Eko Bahunam Yo Vedadi Kaman. Although the Lord is one, He is supplying all necessities to everyone through the medium of the planet Earth. There are different varieties of living entities on different planets, and they all derive their eatables from their planets in different forms. On the basis of this description, how can one assume that there is no living entity on the moon? Every moon is earthly, being composed of 5 elements. Every planet produces different types of food according to the needs of its residents. According to Vedic Shastras, it is not true that the moon does not produce food or that no living entity is living there. So the problem with the scientists is they say there are no living entities on other planets according to them. Why they feel? And because they don't have access for it. Access for the other people, other living entities comes only when we are when we have that state of consciousness, which is not there. So, my dear Vidra, chief of the Kurus, in this way, King Prithu and all others who subsisted on food created different types of calves and milked out of their respective tables. Thus, they received their various foodstuffs, which were symbolized as milk. Thereafter, King Prithu was very satisfied with it, and she sufficiently supplied all foods to various living entities. Thus, he developed an affection for the earth just as his own daughter. And generally, the mountains and hills portions of that, so he made them flat. So, like he did the job of Indra. And then this is to all the citizens of the state, King Prithu was as good as a father. Thus, he was visibly engaged in giving them proper subsistence and proper employment for subsistence. After leaving the surface of it, he embarked different places for residential quarters as much as they desirable. So then we discussed that in this way, King founded many types of villages, settlements, and towns, and built forts, residence for the cowherd men, stables for the animals, and places for royal camps, mining places, agriculture towns, and mountain villages. All these things are in Swayambhu Manvantara. Now we are in Vayoswat Manvantara. So 7 mantras back, it is like millions and millions of years. So in between there are many pralaya, maybe pralaya, I don't know, not pralaya, but there are so many changes happen, so we'll not know. Before the region of King Prithu, There was no planned arrangement for different. Yeah, there was Pralay also, because that's why again Matsya Avatara comes. So before the reign of King Pruth, there was no planned arrangement for different cities, villages, pasturing grounds, etc. Everything was scattered, and everyone constructed his residence quarters according to his own convenience. However, since King Prithu plans were made for towns and villages, so he made this planning. Prabhupada is telling there are many cities and towns. So, and now this is the great sage Maitreya continued. My dear Vidura, King Prithu initiated the performance of 100 horse sacrifices on the spot where river Saraswati flowed towards east. This piece of land is known as Brahmavarta, and it is also controlled by Swayambhu Manu. So this is Swayambhu Manvantara time that is happening. So he is doing sacrifice at that place. When the most powerful Indra, the king of heaven, saw this, he considered the fact that King Prithu was going to exceed him in fruitive activities. Thus, Indra could not tolerate the great sacrificial ceremonies performed by King Prithu. And Prabhupada writes, this is nice points from Prabhupada. In the material world, everyone who comes to enjoy himself, to lord it over material nature, is envious of the others. This envy is also found in the personality of King of Heaven, Indra. As evident from revealed scriptures, Indra was several times envious of many persons. He was especially envious of great fruitive activities and the execution of yoga practices or siddhis. Indeed, he could not tolerate them, and he desired to break them up. He was envious due to fear that those who perform great sacrifice for the execution of mystic yoga might occupy his seat. Since no one in this material world can tolerate another's advancement, everyone in this material world is called Matsara, envious. In the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is therefore said that Srimad Bhagavatam is meant for those who are completely nirmatsara, non-envious. In other words, one who is not free from contamination of envy cannot advance in Krishna consciousness. In Krishna consciousness, however, if someone excels another person, the devotee who is excelled thinks how fortunate the other person is to be advanced in devotional service. Such non-envy is typical of Vaikuntha. However, when one is envious of his competitors, that is material. The demigods posted in the material world are not exempted from envy. So the demigods are also envious. And here, this is starting with Indra. So even demigods are envious. So Indra could not tolerate. So to sacrifice. So this is what happened to Indra. And then we see that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, is present in everyone's heart as a super soul. And he is the proprietor of all planets and enjoyer of results of all sacrifices. He is personally present at the sacrifices made by King Prithu. So Lord was personally present in this situation. So he is proprietor of all. He was personally present. So in this verse, the word Sakshat is significant. Prithu Maharaj was a Shaktavesh avatar incarnation of Lord Vishnu. Actually, Prithu Maharaj was a living entity, but he acquired specific power from Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu, however, is directly Supreme Lord and thus belonged to the category of Vishnu Tattva. Maharaj Prithu belonged to Jiva Tattva. Vishnu Tattva indicates God, Jiva Tattva indicates part and parcel of God. When God's part and parcel is especially empowered, he is called Shaktavesh. Lord Vishnu is herein described as Harir Ishvara. The Lord is so kind that he takes all miserable conditions away from his devotee. Consequently, he is called Harir. He is described as Ishvara because he can do whatever he likes. He is a supreme controller. He is supreme Ishvara, Purushottam. So, Lord is telling, he can immediately help a devotee free from all sinful reactions. If we are fortunate enough to take lessons given by Lord Krishna and Bhagavad Gita, our life immediately becomes successful. No one can give better instructions to humans than Lord Krishna. And further it says that when Lord Vishnu appeared in the sacrificial land, Lord Brahma, Shiva, and other chief predominating personalities, as well as their followers, came with him. When he appeared on the scene, the residents of Gandharvaloka, the great sages, and Apsaras all praised him. So Prithvi Maharaj performed, Lord personally came. So he was very pleased. And then he says that the Lord was accompanied by Siddhas, Vidyadharas, all the descendants of Diti, that means they are Daityas, and the demons and Yakshas. He was accompanied by the chief associates, headed by Sunanda and Nanda. So demons and demigods, everybody came with the Lord. He didn't come alone. Even the demons also thought good to go. Great devotees who were always engaged in service of Supreme Lord, as well as great sages named Kapila, Narada, Dattatreya, the master of mystic powers, headed by Sanat Kumara, all attended the great sacrifice with Lord Vishnu. Because he didn't do one, he did actually 99 till the last incident. So they might have come many times to take their for his sacrifice. In that great sacrifice, the entire land came to be like a milk producing Kamadhenu. And thus, by performance of yajna, all daily necessities of life are supplied. Prabhupada writing, in this verse, the word Dharmaduga is significant, for it indicates that Kamadhenu is also known as Surabhi. Surabhi cow inhabit the spiritual world as stated in Brahma Samhita. Lord Krishna is engaged in tending the cows. Surabhir Abhipalayantam. So, and now Prabhupada is glorifying about milk. So, milk and milk products. Unless we are prepared to perform the prescribed sacrifice, our supply of necessities of life will be checked. So, very important. We have to perform sacrifice. And for us, Sankirtan Yajna is a sacrifice. Our supplies life will. Bhagavad Gita confirms that we have to perform Yajna. Yajna means Yajno by Vishnu. Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Lord. Yajna is Sankirtana Praya. For us is Sankirtan Yajna only. That's not a problem. So, but that is compulsory for us to make some development in our life. If Sankirtan Yajna is performed, there will be no difficulty, not even in industrial enterprises. You see, this is very important. Even if we want to progress in our career, Sankirtan Yajna will help. Even for industrial enterprises. So, this is corporate industry, corporate industrial enterprises also. Therefore, this system should be introduced in all spheres of life, social, political, industrial, commercial, etc. Then everything will run very peacefully and smoothly. So when you have social gathering, first you should do kirtan, have your gathering, and in the end do kirtan. Industry also, before job, everybody should start do kirtan, and then start their job, and then in the end again do kirtan and go home. Same with everything. So this is actually the method that will help them to maintain the consciousness, not cheat, and everything will go smoothly and peacefully. This is a very practical solution which Prabhupada is giving. Unfortunately, people don't have faith in this Sankirtan. They say just by chanting Hare Krishna, everything will be alright. Yes, everything will be alright. Why everything will be alright? Because consciousness is alright. The problem why if anything that happens outside is the problem in the heart. Na? If heart is dirty, no matter how much you make, everything remains dirty. But if heart is clean, everything will be clean only. So like uh, this Menaka Gandhi, she met Radhanand Maharaj. Radhanand Maharaj, she asked, Mamaji, what are you doing for society and animals? You are only doing some devotion. Then Maharaj said that actually we are cleaning. See, the outside, the contamination that is seen outside is because of the contamination of heart. So you are cleaning outside, but we are cleaning the root, the cause of that problem. We are cleaning the heart of people. And she is very impressed because if heart is not clean, no matter how much you clean outside, again you make it dirty. So this is the point. We need to clean our heart, and that's why when you do kirtan, like when Chicago Prabhupada saw the crime, the Time magazine where the crime rate is increasing, the Chicago's police officer, he comes to meet Prabhupada, and Prabhupada says, yeah, the solution is do kirtan and distribute prasadam, crime will reduce. Of course, he didn't take the solution, but Prabhupada gave the solution. He said, this will work. That will definitely work. Even if you don't know Krishna, chanting Krishna will work because it works on the heart. The flowers, the flowing river supplied all kinds of taste, sweet, pungent, sour, etc. The very big tree supplied fruits and honey in abundance. The cows, having eaten sufficient green grass, supplied profuse quantities of milk, yogurt, and clarified butter, and similar other necessities. So, he is continuing the legacy of his grandfather. Because in Yudhishthir time also all these things happened. He is just continuing the legacy. If the rivers, that his Dhruva Maharaj ancestor, the rivers are not polluted and are not allowed to flow in their own way or sometimes allowed to flood the land. The land will become very fertile and able to produce all kinds of vegetables. This word, rasa, means taste. Actually, all rasas are taste within the earth, and soon the seeds are grown in the ground where trees sprout up to satisfy our different tastes. This is very interesting. So now, if you take the earth, we don't get any, uh, we cannot create any taste from it. But the technology is there, the programming is there in the seeds, which is not available for us. Like I cannot create, if I give me a bag full of earth, I cannot create a mango taste. But the seed of mango has a programming. So it can be in the mud and it can create a tree, a mango tree, and beautiful fruits can come. So this is very important. For instance, sugarcane provides its juices to satisfy our taste for sweetness. Orange provides their juices to satisfy our taste for a mixture of sour and sweet. Similarly, there are pineapples and other fruits. At the same time, there are chilies to satisfy our taste for pungency. Although the earth's ground is the same, different tastes arise due to different kinds of seeds. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Bijam Mam Sarva Bhutanam. I am the original seed of all existence. Therefore, all arrangements are there. And as stated in Ishopanishad, Purnamadam Purnamidam, complete arrangement for production of all necessities of life are made by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The problem is that people are greedy. Otherwise, everything is there. So nice technology is there. We don't have the technology. We can never produce in our factories all these grains and all. Not possible only. We don't have that subtle level of technology because it does not work with chemicals. No, it is working with consciousness. That's why we cannot do it. Because according to scientists, chemicals are what is producing everything here. According to us, it is the soul that is producing. Because the soul enters into the mango seed and it produces everything. Because it's a soul that gives that energy and that actually makes everything happen. So the soul has this karma, his ego. Basically, the transformation of anything is ego only. See, what is the shape of my body? It is the shape of my mind and ego. What is a dog? Dog basically is the transformation of its mind and ego only. So the living entity is compulsory to create a form, because form comes with the living entity, not just because of chemical reactions. Not possible. Your understanding. So why scientists miss the point they cannot understand is because they don't start with soul. See, anyway, there is an axiomatic truth only. You don't see the many things in science also. But same thing is spirituality. We cannot see many things. Soul cannot be seen, but we can understand. We can inherent. We can inherit actually. Like so, the point here is that if the soul enters, that will create the shape based on its karma, subhava, and ahankara. There is certain shape is formed. Say now, I am creating a big house. What does a big house mean? Big house means big ego. Because my ego is so big, I cannot accommodate in a small house. I need a big house only. That's why we want big houses. That is telling that size of our ego, basically. And so here also the living entities, which the seeds which are given in the earth, they transform it and they are given into it. So with chemicals you cannot create because there is no ego there. There is no swabhava there. The programming is not in the chemical, in the mud. The program is where? The program is in the mind. So based on that programming, the matter is developed. So like you have a blueprint and then you develop the building. So without the blueprint, we cannot construct the building. No builder will start even one brick also without the blueprint. It is not possible only. You say, okay, keep construction, something will happen. It won't happen like that. You need to have some idea. Even if blueprint is not there on the paper, it should be there in the mind of the person who is constructing. Something he will be able to do. Otherwise, he cannot do it. So that means, where is the programming? It is in the mind only, na? If you take logically, say now I want to make a house. First, where I construct in my mind. Then what it is manifesting. So when Prabhupada was going on a morning walk, he saw a big building. So he asked, how did this building come here? And everybody started telling, somebody planned it, somebody constructed it, somebody did this, somebody did that. Prabhupada said, no, 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 no. Then Prabhupada said, somebody started speaking about it. So it manifests in the more subtle level and then comes in a gross level. So here also we see all the taste and all, it is in a subtle level first, then comes in a gross level. Actually, very nice point Prabhupada is making. The whole system is so arranged that the living entity must do his duty as he is constitutionally made. Without doing so, all living entities must suffer. This is a law of nature. So, and the words Saravo Bhuri Varshmanaha indicates very luxuriantly grown, big bodied trees. The purpose of these trees was to produce honey and varieties of fruit. In other words, the forest also has its purpose in supplying honey, fruits, and flowers. Unfortunately, in Kali Yuga, due to an absence of yajna, there are many big trees in the forest, but they do not supply sufficient fruits and honey. Thus, everything is dependent on the performance of yajna. The best way to perform yajna in this age is to spread the Sankirtan movement all over the world. So presently, the trees are also sinful. People are also sinful. We are not so sensitive like previous ages. Their hearts are very soft, sensitive, very responsible. Kali Yuga, no, not like that. Very proud. King Prithu was presented with various gifts from general populace and predominating deities of all planets. The oceans and seas were full of variable jewels and pearls, and hills were full of chemicals and fertilizers. Four kinds of edibles were produced profusely. So Prithvi Maharaj's rule is not that he is doing day-to-day management. He is performing management at a very subtle level. So more we follow dharma, more it will become easy to more it becomes easy to execute things, to make things work below, because it is purity that works, not just management. So he is maintaining that purity, and he is maintaining purity by performing sacrifices. And not one, two. He did 99 sacrifices, and they are not some simple sacrifices. They are very elaborate, and so elaborate, so powerful that even Lord and demigods, they are personally coming to accept their share. So it's a very huge endeavor he is doing. So the oceans and seas produce the oceans and seas produce pearls, corals, and valuable jewels so that fortunate law-abiding people can utilize them. Similarly, the hills are full of chemicals so that when water flows down from the chemicals spread over the field to fertilize the four kinds of food. These are technically known as chow, yeah, those eatable which are chewed, leha, those which are licked up, chusya, those which are sucked, and peya, those which are drunk. So Maharaj Prithu was greeted by residents of other planets and their prescribed deities, thus presented varieties of gifts to the king. They acknowledge him as the proper type of king by whose planning and activities everyone throughout the universe could be happy and prosperous. It is clearly indicated in this verse that oceans and seas are meant for producing jewels, but in Kali Yuga, the oceans are mainly being utilized for fishing. The Sudras and poor men were allowed to fish, but the higher class are not. They would wear pearls, jewels, and corals from the sea. Although poor man could catch fish, they could not be equal in value to one piece of coral or pearl. In this age, so many factories for manufacturing of fertilizers have been opened. But when personality of God was performance of yajna, the hills automatically produce fertilizing chemicals which help produce edibles in the field. Everything is dependent on people's acceptance of Vedic principles of sacrifice. So ultimately, it is uh, they are accepting authority. So this is very important. I'll just tell one point on this. If somebody is following authority, that means he's obeying his guru, even parents, and even the shastras, sadhus. Advantage for him is when he is leaving his body. That time, Lord says, "Now you come." He, because he's used to obey the orders of superiors, when Lord tells you come with me, he will obey that order of the Lord also. He'll not feel attached, jealous, envious, cheated, and all. When people die, they have this feeling. They feel that they got cheated, and so many other emotions. And they feel very sad. But this person is already used to accept authority. He is ready to accept the authority of Lord also. He may feel sad, but ultimately, no, I have to accept the will of Lord and let me go according to His will. There the success comes. For us, we are successful or not is how much we are ready to accept the will of Lord. And that should be practiced by obeying the will of our superiors and Guru and Vaishnavas and Shastras. We have to work on obeying them. Then slowly we accept the will of Lord and we will say, yes, my dear Lord, if you tell me to come now, I am ready also, like that. So it's a very important way of developing ourselves, learning to be obeying. So and then real knowledge is revealed. Chakshudan diloje janme janme prabhu se. So he is giving actually real Chakshu, the Shastra Chakshu, our Guru and all. So when we start obeying, King Prithu was dependent on Supreme Lord, who is known as Zokshaja, because King Prithu performed so many sacrifices. He was superhumanly enhanced by the mercy of Supreme Lord. King Prithu's opulence, however, could not be tolerated by King Indra. Indra was tired to impede the progress of his opulence. So this is actually what happened to Indra. He could not tolerate. He tried to impede the progress. And this verse is Prabhupada is writing three significant purposes expressed in the word Adoksha. Bhagavan Indra and Protha. Maharaj Prithu was incarnation of Lord, yet he is a great devotee of Lord Vishnu. Although an empowered incarnation of Lord Vishnu, he was nevertheless a living entity. As such, he must be devotee of the Supreme Lord. Although one is empowered by the Supreme Personality and is an incarnation, he should not forget his eternal relationship. So Prithvi Maharaj knows that he always in the Das Bhav, that okay, I need somebody uh, to take help of. So Prithvi Maharaj was taking the help of the Supreme Lord. In Kali Yuga, there are many self-made incarnations, rascals, who declare themselves to Supreme Lord. So this is the problem in Kali Yuga. Prithumara is always conscious, I am servant of Lord. But nowadays, I have seen many incarnations already. Too much bogus. Now, what is the theory they use? They say this is Acharya Parampara, that is the Parampara of Devata. So, if you are having a Guru, Babaji and all, and even though he's 101% bogus, but still people are there to justify. They say they come from Acharya Parampara, Guru lineage. So they themselves are God, no problem. Because all these people in that lineage, they speak that type of philosophy only. So, a very dangerous philosophy. So here it is clearly said, Prabhupada's writing. It is so many impostures are there who try to cheat the people. Especially in Kali Yuga, this is very common. Why? Because people also want very fast things. Now you tell them, okay, come chant Hare Krishna, and slowly you will get purified, and then you can achieve perfection. People are least interested. They say, give me solution. I have no time. I have to continue my enjoyment. Some break came because I could not really. I wanted to enjoy, but there is a break. Why there is a break? Because there was some hindrance in my enjoyment. You come and settle it, and again we'll see if we can continue the uh, you know prayers and all. So the main thing is they want to get fulfilled, and that's why they get the cheaters also. So it is not just the fault of the cheaters. It is people are also interested. So where there is a market, where there is a demand, there is market also, right? So this is generally what is happening around. And so much big market is there. Like I go to some TV channels. So they say what type of people come there. And they pay money to get their interview in that channel. And then they become very popular so that they can get followers and other things and nicely advertised. And there are always sentimental people everywhere who don't use any logic and they become connected to them. Very seriously, they get connected. And very dangerous actually in that way. They seriously get connected for something very wrong. So the word Bhagavan Indra indicates that the living entity can be exalted and powerful as Indra. For every king Indra is an ordinary living entity in the material world and possesses the four defects. King Indra is described here in Bhagavan, which is generally used in reference to Supreme Lord. In this case, Indra is addressed as Bhagavan because he has so much power in his hands. Ritmara is literally controlling everything. And Indra is also, everybody who has some control, they are calling Bhagavan. Despite his becoming Bhagavan, he is envious of the incarnation of God. So this is a very interesting pastime. This Indra is also Supreme Lord only. How he can become envious, it is a different story. We should try to understand, therefore, how a conditioned soul falls. The opulence of King Prithu was not dependent on a material condition. As described in this verse, he was a great devotee of Adokshaja. So, who is beyond the expression of body and mind. So, the devotee is allowed to see the Supreme Lord face to face, although the Lord is beyond the expression of our senses and beyond our direct perception. Okay. Any questions, comments? Yeah, there are paid channels. We can purchase interviews also. There are so many people that it's common that happens. Okay, thank you very much. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare